desert for me to run. I was raised by a hard-living son of a gun and a mama that prayed to the Lord for a whole other plan. I made a change along the way when I found that old guitar to play. Yeah.
Cowboy songs, it kind of describes the life of a country band on the road playing the dive bar, honky-tonk dance holes.
It's like our rockinest tune, and it really gets people going.
It's that part of the set list too where we're going off a little bit. I get to sing, I get to play, I get a cool solo.
I grew up playing a lot more rock and roll. Whenever we get one that is a little bit of a rocker, I tend to enjoy playing those a lot.
So it's kind of a tribute to that lifestyle, getting the people on the floor dancing, working the crowd 9 to midnight, sometimes longer. You know, you don't make much money, but you love it.
They're chained to the whiskey, cigarettes. This honky-tonk dream ain't over yet. Don't make much, but it won't change anything. These cowboy songs I sing.
Tonight on Band in Seattle, local country four-piece Santa Poco brings the honky-tonk to Pioneer Square. Welcome to Band in Seattle, live from the historic Central Saloon.
Yeah, he's rolling, headed down the road. Rhinestones sparkle, oh, how they glow on Broadway. Under those neon lights, top back cruising in his Coupe de Ville. Bullhorns riding on front of that grill, and the radio's on, playing old Fair and Young.
Bruce and I, our drummer, had been just playing gigs all over town and all over the Northwest, just kind of corporate gigs, just like weddings and parties, and we're just trying to make a buck.
When I moved to Washington, went out to an open mic night or something, and I met a lady who was hosting it, and she was a drummer. We just kind of were talking. I told her I was looking for work. She took my information, passed it along to Pat, hit her up for a gig, and she couldn't do it, so he called me up, and so Pat and I played together for a few years.
I always thought he was a fantastic drummer, and we started playing country. People started asking for country. The money was like getting better. I was like, man, people are really valuing these country bands. Growing up in Texas, I already had like a huge appreciation for country music and George Strait, and I was like, maybe we should just be a country band, and that's how we just kind of present ourselves to, you know, people that want to hire us.
You know what I mean, son, she'll burn you up. Oh, she's hot to the touch. Makes her living on whiskey and cokes. Little red pill in her Marlboro smoke. She's got an angel smile and the devil in her eyes. With her jeans on tight and her makeup just right, she's gonna get some tonight. Yeah, baby. Anywhere she goes, everybody knows her name. Yeah, the life of the crowd gonna get a little loud. They ain't going home till they shut it all down, and that's the way it goes.
I met Andy. I just saw him on like a YouTube video. He was singing a George Strait song at the Hard Rock Cafe, and it was just some random video, and I think I Googled like country singer Seattle.
Someone in the audience filmed it and posted it on YouTube, and that's how he reached out to me on social media. of like, hey, you want to do some shows together? So it was a really funny coincidence, you know, because I mean, how he even found the video, I have no idea, and I didn't even know it was on there.
And I was like, oh, this guy gets it. He kind of wants to do this more kind of classic country thing that I want to do, and he's into Western swing. He's like singing a George Strait song. We just instantly connected.
So Ryan Adams was playing at the Paramount. Pat invited me. He had a spare ticket for it, and I was like, sure. And so Bruce had gone with him, and I'd seen Bruce before playing, but I'd never really formally met him before, so I recognized him, right? So just right off the bat, you know, our conversations all just stuck. We laughed, you know, we talked, wouldn't it be great to be in a band? It was kind of stars aligned and fate that it happened.
I usually know when to call or when to fold. The cards on the table went from hot to cold. The dealer was done dealing, he had nothing left to show. Oh well, my queen of hearts roll. Only queen missing from my full house is you. And I had aces, jacks, and kings burning holes in my shoe. All the cards in the whole damn deck, they was turning blue. Only queen missing from my full house is you.
So the three of us kind of like put our heads together and like, maybe we should have a band.
In my childhood, young years, I loved the comedy movie, The Three Amigos.
We just happened to be fans. All three of us were huge fans of like Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. And we were like, what was the name of that town in The Three Amigos? It was Santa Poco. Like Santa Poco, which is, I guess, is a made-up word. It doesn't mean anything.
And for whatever reason, I was driving up I-5 one day, and we were trying to think of a name for the band.
We thought, you know, Santa Poco would sound a little bit better.
Texted all the guys, and it just stuck.
Only queen missing from my full house is you. I had aces, jacks, and kings burning holes in my shoe. All the cards in the whole damn deck, they was turning blue. Only queen missing from my full house is you.
Eventually, time passed. We had a different guitar player at first, and that didn't work out. Our buddy Lucky, guitar player, he owns the Break in Roslyn. That's how we met him. We were playing there, and he was always such a gracious host. When our last guy moved back to Arizona, as soon as I hung up the phone, when he quit, I picked up the phone and called Lucky and said, hey man, you want to join?
I just love the band. You know, I love the band. I love the guys. The music is great, but also the fellowship of the band together was a great chemistry. I could tell. Bruce called me and said, hey, do you think you might want to play guitar in this band? And I was like, yeah. And I've just been having a blast ever since.
All the cards in the whole damn deck, they was turning blue. Only queen missing from my full house is you. Only queen missing from my full house is you. Thank you.
When we return, find out more about Santa Poco.
Well, she came home at 4:30 and she found his little note. It said, I'm sorry, babe, but I found someone new and I'm hitting the road. She didn't think twice, but the truck in driving, she headed to the honky-tonk. Where she found out fast, she had the last laugh, that was all she wrote. But she's a long way from lonely. She danced all night at the time of her life, and he never even crossed her mind.
That's one of our newer numbers. It's a story about a guy that left his girl. She came home with a note that he'd found someone else and was moving on. Well, she decided, well, I don't need him anyways, and heads down to the honky tonk, but she wasn't looking for love. She was there just to have a good time and dance and drink, and so she found out in that process that she was a long ways from lonely.
So that's probably our newest song that Andy wrote a little while ago with a few tweaks. You know, we sped it up because he brought it to us and it was like really slow. And we just kind of sped it up, and like the movie, The Wonders, you know, that Tom Hanks movie, it just clicked, man. We just sped it up and we're like, that's it, print it.
Sometimes lyrically, he paints such a great picture. That's actually like one of my favorites to play too. It's super fun for me.
She's just thinking about tonight. She's feeling alright. She's not thinking about tomorrow. She's just thinking about tonight. She's feeling alright.
Andy's a good old boy. Andy's got that kind of voice where it seems almost like you should recognize it, but you can't quite place it, you know?
His voice, his instrument. For the first several times I saw the band, I thought he was running his voice through something, and I was looking for it.
He just has this wonderful voice, like just God-given voice that for country music is it's amazing to hear. I remember the very first note he sang. Well, I was sitting there ready to, start my note. First gig was at this place, this hotel gig in Ballard, but it just seemed kind of dead. And he just opens up his mouth and starts singing, and all these people just got up and started dancing. He didn't even ask them to.
I was just a boy in the spring of '01. Had a little band, it was a lot of fun. Played a bunch of gigs and we was on a tab, and my story starts at a country fair. Hanging backstage as a little old man in a 10-day fair and a spray-on tan with a big old grin. 2 thumbs up, he says, my name is Glenn. And I thought you wrong. I thought you wrong. Well, I was just a kid in the swing room much. I thought this dude was a homeless bum. The gray sweats on and holes in his shoes. A little old man started to abuse every single guitar that they had on stage. Just on them strings, he didn't act his age with a big old grin. 2 thumbs up, he says, my name is Glenn. And I thought you wrong.
Glenn thought it rocks. So this is a song I wrote.
We're playing a lot of the rock and rollers tonight.
He was playing with a band, and they opened up for Glenn Campbell.
A little bit after high school, he was playing at a county fair. I was playing early in the day, and I just was like, I didn't know who Glenn Campbell was.
He met him and didn't realize it was Glenn Campbell. He had a big beard. He was wearing, sweatpants.
He just kept doing this to me. He was trying to encourage me, literally standing side stage and doing this to like me as a young kid in like 2004 or 5.
Rhinestone cowboy, general on my mind. Wichita lineman, southern nights. By the time I get to Phoenix and Galveston, I'll be a country boy singing early morning song. Play the whole hits and whole repertoire. Really start sounding like a country star with a big old grin. The 2 thumbs up, he says, my name is Glenn. And I thought you wrong. I thought you wrong. Let it roll.
Pat, I think he's the best musician I've ever played with, and I've played with a lot of guys.
Polished musician, just as professional as it comes, an expert on all instruments.
Pat plays amazing pedal steel, amazing guitar, amazing bass, sings, writes, produces, arranges, plays piano.
He has studied music and devoted his life in a way to studying music.
I saw the road, I thought too long. I saw the road, I thought too long, yeah.
After the break, discover more about Santa Poco.
Do what you want, go on, have your way. I do believe I've had my fill of the wicked things you did. That's all right, I'll be okay, 'cause I was leaving you tomorrow, yesterday.
I was leaving you tomorrow yesterday. I actually wrote that song about 20 years ago, maybe longer, and we just started doing it about a month ago.
It was a song that he had kicking around in a band that was called The Souvenirs.
When we recorded the Souvenirs album back in '99, that was actually recorded and it didn't make the final cut. And so I showed it to those guys and they go, well, we like that song.
And he's like, I've been sitting on this song for almost 2 decades, and I want you guys to play.
I've got this feeling I'll never be lonely again. Now that you've shown me how lonely can be.
Lucky's an amazing guitar player. And all three of us, when he's like doing a solo and just picking that ton of notes, we kind of start listening. Like I start listening, I'm just like, he's so stinking good. Like, how did I get this lucky? Like, he's just an amazing guitar player. I mean, I thought I was pretty good, and he puts me to shame.
Lucky's just a super insightful, intelligent guy. You know, I've had some really great conversations with Lucky. We kind of hit it off right out of the gate. I don't know, I felt like maybe he doesn't feel this way, but I kind of felt like I connected with him immediately.
'Cause I'm on fire, I'm on my way. 'Cause I was leaving you tomorrow, yesterday. Yeah, I was leaving you tomorrow. I was leaving you tomorrow. I was leaving you tomorrow, yesterday.
Bruce comes from like the non-country world. He was in a signed band, like a new metal band, toured around all over the place, Europe.
He's our backbeat in the band, great brother. The guy can play any style of music on drums. He's been a career drummer for a long, long time.
Being in like a signed band, he already had like that experience of like, this is what it takes, you know, to be a musician of that caliber. So when I met him, fully formed musician, he just got it.
I would beg, steal, and borrow. I would cross that line for one last chance to change your mind before I lose mine. The city lights and painted neon signs stole you away from me, and now blue is the only color this country boy could see. Prayed one day I'd make your dream come true. I roll the dice and I spin that wheel. Oh, how win to lose. Ain't no use in holding, 'cause I know
incarnation of this band. There's something special happening. What keeps me going is searching for that thing.
You know, I get up still every morning and I practice drums for a couple of hours, teach drum lessons for 6 or 8 more hours, gig on the weekends, and I've had some really good experiences playing with bands, and I've always kind of felt like I was living like a king on a shoestring.
Stole you away from me, and now blue is the only color a country boy could see.
I mean, it's something I love to do, and we won't be able to do it forever. And so that's what keeps me going. You know, it's a wonderful thing. We're blessed and fortunate to be able to do that.
I haven't experienced this level of kind of like crowd interaction that these guys, the 4 of us together, can seem to generate. And sometimes the crowds are really great, and it's just an amazing interaction, and just people twirling around and dancing around. I just love to see that. Being with your best friends, and then you have an awesome gig or get asked to do something cool like this.
The city lights and painted neon signs stole you away from me, and now blue is the only color. Yeah, blue is the only color. Oh, blue is the only color this old country boy can see.
Thanks for watching. To find out more about our bands, go to bandinseattle.com. Special thanks to the Central Saloon.